Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to talk a major milestone reached by the Yuzu emulator, which is a Nintendo Switch emulator. Now, I love to talk about emulators on this channel. However, there is a little bit of a gray area, especially with the Switch emulator, given that it's a console that's still being sold and the games are still being sold. We'll talk all about that. I just want to bring you guys the information. Whether or not you guys want to utilize it is up to you, but Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is now playable on the Nintendo Switch emulator, which is kind of crazy to think about, and we'll talk all about that. And I also want to talk a little bit about Steam breaking yet another record in the midst of everybody being, forced to stay at home for the most part. A lot of people are going online, and that is evident in Steam's player base right now as they are doing monstrous numbers. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end of this video. But first up, yes, as noted by BSOD Gaming, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is now playable on the Yuzu emulator, which is the Nintendo Switch emulator. Now, I'm not going to say it's absolutely perfect. However, for a console that came out back in, 2017, I know it's not the most powerful console. I know it's not at the level of a Xbox One or a PlayStation 4, but still, this is a 3-year-old console. And the fact we've been able to make this kind of progress on the emulator is pretty remarkable. I don't remember the last time a emulator progressed this quickly, but yeah, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is playable, and I'm watching gameplay on it, and it looks relatively smooth. Again, it's just gonna get better and better, and as more progress is made, it's gonna get really, really good if you do want to play Smash Brothers this way. The user that uploaded the video and ran Yuzu actually ran it with moderate specs, i3-8350K at 4.6 GHz, 16 GB of DDR4, 3200 MHz RAM, and an EVGA GeForce GTX 1070, so that's moderate. I mean, that's nothing out of this world, but really, a lot of the times with emulators, it doesn't even come down to specifications. It just comes down to how the emulator is progressing and how it's programmed and whatever the case may be on that. I don't know all the ins and outs. I'm just bringing you guys the information of what's being played, and if you do want to support the Yuzu emulator, you can do so with a Patreon support. And they're doing very well on Patreon. Currently, they have 1,540 patrons, and that does help a lot with the progression of an emulator like this, and that's one of the main reasons why the emulator is progressing at such a fast rate. Now, I do want to talk about the argument being made, and I see this argument being made a lot, and I can understand why, and I definitely would like to see you guys chime in with your thoughts. Obviously, it's one thing when someone like me is emulating a PlayStation Portable, using a PlayStation Portable emulator, using a PS2 emulator, even as far as a PS3 emulator. I mean, PS3 games aren't really being sold much anymore. The counterpoint is with an emulator like Yuzu, it is for the Nintendo Switch. It is for games like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. These are games that are still, ultimately, no pun intended, still being sold at a very, very high price. In the case of Smash Bros., it's like $60, and in the case of the Nintendo Switch, it's like $300 right now, and I believe right now a lot of them are out of stock because of everything that's going on, and some of them are getting price gouged, which is like really unfortunate. But that is the argument. PlayStation 3, nobody's really buying PlayStation 3 games. Nobody's really buying PlayStation Portable games. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, on the other hand, okay, you can make the argument that an emulator can take away from sales. However, I don't think that an emulator actually does take away sales from a game. I think it's the whole thing with piracy. Look, if somebody wants to play Smash Ultimate on PC, they're gonna play it on PC. And the majority of people that want to play Smash Ultimate, if they really want to play it, they'll get a Nintendo Switch. Chances are, they're probably going to play both ways, and chances even greater that a Smash Bros. Ultimate being played on a Yuzu emulator by someone that might not have the game, yet that might actually entice them to buy a Nintendo Switch, because I do believe that the majority of people want the native platform to play the game. I honestly think that in some way, an emulator can be seen as a promotional tool for a console, because even with the emulators that could play the games at their fullest form, some people just at that point are going to enjoy the games a lot, and they're like, okay, let me buy the Nintendo Switch, let me buy Smash. I've really learned something about just video games and just entertainment medium in general. If somebody wants to play something, if somebody wants a console, they'll go out of their way to actually buy it. If they're waiting for a game to be emulated, if they're waiting years upon years for an emulator to come out, for a game to arrive on a certain platform, they didn't care enough about that game anyway. Yeah, they'll buy it or they'll play it when it's available on a certain platform, but they're not going to go out of their way to buy a console for that specific game, or they're not going to buy that specific game anyway. So I don't think revenue is even being hurt. And then you also offer the fact that you're letting this game be playable to a new audience, and it does kind of work as a pseudo promotional tool. That's why I think the people complaining about Horizon Zero Dawn, for example, coming to PC, they're just completely out to lunch, and they don't understand why it's so advantageous for Sony to go that route. Obviously a little bit different because Horizon Zero Dawn is being released on the Steam store and it's going to be sold. This is an emulator that's now playing Smash Brothers, so obviously it's a little bit different. I just don't think it's as big of a deal as a lot of people make it out to be. Emulation in general, I just don't think it's as harmful to gaming or whatever. I know Atlas or Sega or whoever went after Persona 5. I know there's been a lot of issues with emulators, and I really don't think it's hurting any of these publishers or developers' bottom line. At the most grandiose scale, maybe you lose a couple sales at most, a couple, and I guarantee you, personally speaking, this is my opinion, I think there's a lot more good than bad, even from a publisher standpoint. Just because the game is being played by more people, I think it's advantageous for everyone involved, but you really don't see that side being explored. Whatever the case may be, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because I'm really interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Would you use an emulator for a platform that's already out and it's being sold, more importantly than not? Like, for me, I have a Nintendo Switch. I have Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm not going to utilize the Yuzu emulator just because if I want to play Ultimate, I'll play it on my Nintendo Switch. But for a lot of other people, it is something to look at. And if nothing else, I don't even want to talk about the idea of playing Ultimate. The idea that the Yuzu emulator has made this kind of progress in just a few short years, that is more incredible to me than anything. Obviously, they got a lot of support from Patreon, but these are some talented folk working on the emulator itself. And again, progress being made this quickly is pretty remarkable. All right, moving on from that, and again, do sound off in the comments below. Steam has broken yet another record in terms of concurrent player base. Obviously, with everybody being inside, now is as advantageous as ever to get online, play some video games, whatever the case may be. And obviously, there's been a lot of controversies arisen from that as well. People talking about limiting internet usage for video games. Then you got to talk about Netflix. All right, I'm not here to talk about that. Steam has just cracked 23 million concurrent players, which is a ridiculous number. I imagine that this is going to continue to go up and up as more and more people are staying home, and this would be a really great time for a Steam sale to start. I know the argument is obviously to be made, well, a lot of people aren't working right now, so are they going to have the money to spend on a Steam sale? Absolutely a fair point. Hey, that's why they're offering these free games as well. I'm not going to ask for free games because maybe that is a little bit too greedy to be asking for free games, but nonetheless, a Steam sale, I think, for a lot of people, if a game's a couple of dollars here or there just to get their mind off things, I think it could be a really great time. Not only for Steam to generate a lot of revenue, but for people to just be offered something and get a game and get it for cheap, because today, we also had the release of Mount & Blade 2 Bannerlord, and I think a lot of people want to check that out. However, I think a lot of people are also of the position they don't want to be spending $45 on a game right now. They don't want to be spending $40 on a game right now. That is a hefty price to drop on a game, and if there is a sale going on, hey, you could get a game that's super content-filled for $5 to $10 and be on your merry way, and there are a lot of games that are discounted at that level right now. I'm on the Steam store right now. You see a City Skylines for $6. You see Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War super discounted. And you see Octopath Traveler, alright, that's still a little bit expensive at $30, but nonetheless, it is discounted. You see Insurgency Sandstorm, you see Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Yes, gotta get my per video Witcher 3 mention in. Thanks for the check, CD Projekt Red. That is a lie. They do not pay me at all. But yeah, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Game of the Year Edition is on sale for $15, and a lot of stuff is on sale. I just think if you ran a mass sale with a lot of stuff discounted heavily, I think that could be rather good. But whatever the case may be, Steam breaking another record at north of 23 million. Feel like this is just something interesting to cover, and I imagine that they'll hit 25 million sooner rather than later. That's going to conclude this video, guys. Again, the Yuzu emulator is making some massive progress. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is playable now. I'll leave a link to BSOD's Gaming's YouTube channel, and you can check that out. The game's playing pretty freaking well, all things considered. Not perfect, probably not the ideal emulation experience you would want to have, but man, it is doing pretty damn well, all things considered. And Steam has broken another milestone. 23 million players concurrently, probably will break 25 million before all is said and done. That's going to conclude this video. If you guys have a request for a future video, you can leave that in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.